Hello, and it's the Warp Forge with another Arkham Files for you all. Continuing the theme of Joker's gang from last time, we are going through with the Joker from the Killing Joke variant. So, another leader for the gang. So obviously, as I've just said, this is the Killing Joke variant of Joker. So we'll go through the name and then we'll go through the stat line just to clear everything up. So, his name is unknown. Alias is Joker in brackets the Killing Joke. Rank is lead and affiliate is Joker. It's adding 2 and 2. If you've managed to get egg mayonnaise sandwiches with 2 plus 2, then something's went horribly wrong. So we'll go on to the next one, which is the stat line. Stat line is strength 4 plus, average for a leader. His willpower is 8, average for a leader. Movement 2, average for a leader. Attack and defense is both 4, average for a leader. Endurance 8, average for a leader. And special is 3, average all round, standard even. So, all in all, stat lines wise, he's a tough leader. Maybe not Harvey Dent in tough, or maybe not as tough as Deathstroke in terms of defense. But all in all, a solid one to really try and get through appropriately. So we'll go on to his personal traits, which is what makes him who he is. And this is one of the reasons why I think he's my favourite Joker of the whole group, aside from the awesome Buddle. So his personal traits, his first one is Chaos Agent. So Chaos Agent, as you've known from the previous Arkham file with Arkham City Joker, it's basically you take a turn out of your opponent and you gain Trickster and all your henchmen. So you rearrange your Joker-affiliated gang's henchman counters for after Raise the Plan. So then you have next is Kill Them. Kill them for 1 special counter. All friendly henchmen within 10 centimeters of this model gain 1 attack counter that can exceed the attack stat. So if you've got, say, an axeman with 3 attack and you've got 3 counters in attack, you can then add 1 more attack counter for 4 attack counters, allowing you to be over the average. And that's, imagine having 4 attacks with an axe. That's huge. Psycho. Psycho is basically his willpower is never altered, so stuff like Poison Ivy and Crane's Fear Toxin, they do like to lessen the willpower and stuff. That doesn't happen, however he does lose willpower for taking in damage. So against any sneaky shenanigans, he just basically whiffs off. He has toxins and all that sort of shady stuff in his blood and veins, so I guess that's entirely appropriate for the Joker. Scheming 1. Now this is an interesting one, only because you already have Chaos Agent, which grants Trickster on all your henchmen. So why do you need to keep 1 back? Well, if you've got any free agents, or if you've got any sidekicks, you might want to keep 1 back for them. So I keep saying that. So what does scheming do exactly? Well, after you take the lead and choose who raises the plan first or second, we go on to raise the plan after. So either you or your opponent, so for this example, say you have chosen to raise the plan first. Raise the plan is basically where you assign all the counters to your whole gang, and then your opponent does the same for them, and then you start taking activations in turns, enacting your plans basically. What Scheming 1 does is allow you to hold 1 miniature back, so then you can deploy all the counters for your gang. Then your opponent deploys all the counters for their gang, and then the last one, which you've held back because of Scheming 1, because you hold 1 back, you get to assign the counters. So basically what it allows you to do tactically is to look at your opponent's counters where he's assigning everything, and then you assign your counters on your character that you've held back from scheming. So usually this will go on to psychics or free agents, ones who don't really have Chaos Agent. So his last personal trait is Trickster. Trickster is exactly like Chaos Agent, except he gets to rearrange the counters on himself, making them highly unpredictable and highly flexible. So that's all his personal traits. Now we go on to his special traits, which to me, I really like and this is what makes Joker Joker in my opinion. This is how I think Joker should work, in my personal opinion. So, without further ado, we'll go into it. His first special trait is Intimidate. So for one special counter, target one enemy model within 20 centimeters in line of sight. If the target fails willpower roll, they can't make close combat attacks until the end of the round. So that's huge. That is very, very huge. That is like Charm on Hatter, except it's more aggressive than Hatter's Charm. It's like it's like the opposite side of the coin, so to say. So Hatter's is used in defense. This is used against usually willpower 6 or less. 7 slightly pushing it. 8 or more, you're literally hoping on the dice rolls. So basically, willpower roll is like, for those in 40k, it's like willpower. It's like a leadership test where you roll the dice, and if you equal or under the result of the willpower, you pass the test. If you go over it, you fail the test and suffer whatever effects may occur after that. So basically, you could go up to like the high security henchman with this guy, spend a special counter, target that guy within 20 centimeters. Force him to roll a willpower test. If he fails, that person can't attack. That's huge for really aggressive characters. Potentially Zaz won't like it. Clayface won't like it. Croc won't like it. People's bodyguards won't like it. Well, not bodyguards, but people's sidekicks won't like that because they're usually around 6, 7-ish willpower. So again, it's one of those ones that, yes, it does rely on dice, but you single out a character, either free agent or a henchman on an objective, weaken them up, and then send in the clowns to sweep up the floor of that one. His second personal trait is Demotivate. Demotivate's a lot more expensive with 2 special counters. You can remove any 2 action counters from a target within 20 centimeters and line of sight unless the target passes a willpower roll. So again, willpower 6 or 7 is probably your limit. Anything more is you're hoping for dice. And I'm not saying that won't happen because one of the things I love about Batman is even the most unlikely things happen. I've had times where I've hypnotized Deadshot twice with Hatter's gang, and I've managed to crit freeze on Swamp Thing, and Swamp Thing rolls for his endurance and he fails it, keeping him frozen for the next turn. Stuff like that is absolutely just out there. It happens, and I really enjoy Batman because you get that probability of chance, and dice are dice. So you can try it, but if you're doing stuff like that, then the most likelihood is you're doing that as last ditch attempts because you really, really don't want anyone in combat with this Joker. So that's it. We'll go on to his weapons now. Now, again, his weapons are very flexible with him. We'll go for his first one, which is his only ranged weapon, which is his Acid Flower. So again, it really themes on the Joker because everyone remembers the Acid Flower and the Laughing Gas. No one forgets that. So, Acid Flower is 2 blood damage, rate fire 1, ammo 2, so you can fire this twice in the game. His special is Mechanical, so it damages on a 3+. It's short range, so 20 centimeters. It's Acid, which is ignores the light armor trait, and if it manages to successfully damage, it does -1 attack and defense to the opponent or the target. And light, so you can fire this within 5 centimeters at rate of fire 1, which is why it's so flexible because it's rate of fire 1 anyway. You don't really have to think that much into should I fire it or should I not fire it because you don't have to decrease the the rate of fire. So his next 2 melee weapons are the knife and baton, and I'm gonna not really talk about them too much because they work exactly like Deathstroke's Arkham Origins variant of weapon. So the knife, you have a blood damage. It doesn't have rate of fire ammo, and it's sharp, so it rerolls to damage rolls. You have the baton, doesn't have rate of fire ammo, has handy and heavy. So handy rerolls to hits, and heavy does +1 to his strength. So if he's damaging on the baton, he's damaging on a 3-up. So why did I say that he's basically, those two work like Arkham Origins Deathstrokes, what would you call it, weapons. Well, they're basically less powerful versions of them. What you do is you hit somebody, knock them out with a baton. Admittedly, it's not as strong, so you will need support from characters, but this goes into synergy, as we'll talk about after this. So, after the weapons. So, the baton basically goes up to somebody, wallops them, knocks them out, hopefully, with a little bit of elbow grease, just like the reinforced blow from Deathstroke, and then you go on with the knife and slit the throat, knife them, gut them, gouge their eyes out, whatever you call it, whatever you fancy, because Joker doesn't really give a fuck. So, again, it's easier to harm people with blood damage with the knife than it is with the baton. And once somebody's knocked out anyway. After that, it's really easy. His synergies are basically, he's a support character. And this is what I like about this Joker, and this is how I feel the Joker should really be played. This is why he's my favourite. It's because he works with his henchmen. He is the centre of attention, if that makes sense. Which is what the Joker really plays out with. He's flamboyant, he likes the attention. He's the clown prince of crime, who like takes over frequently circuses and stuff like that. It's great to me. He basically, what you'll usually do with Joker is you'll bubble up or bubble wrap your henchmen around him, or have them at least within 10 centimetres. Within the first few turns of the game, you'll want to be, they usually call them movement turns, because you want everything in position so then you can properly hack at stuff and get to objectives. So what you do is, you have them within 10 centimetres, you do a special for Inspire, because leaders have the Inspire trait, just for being a leader. All your henchmen within 10 centimetres gain a willpower point, well not willpower point, but a free action point. Slap it on somewhere where you don't think it's going to go as well, and then fly them up. So what you do in the opening turns is, I've put them in movement to special, fly everyone up, and then when it gets to rather than mid-game, you start using kill them as well as Inspire. Get them in, whittle the opponent's defences down, whittle the opponent's willpower down as well. It makes them much more easier to target and to hurt when you whittle those two main essentials down. And this Joker really helps with that because of Intimidate and Demotivate. You just waltz them up. If you use an Inspire and kill them, most likely use an Intimidate on a combat heavy guy like a Titan Thug. For example, Penguin's Titan Thug. You go Intimidate. He's not going to fight, and then you just pounce on him with all your henchmen, maybe an assault riflesman, etc, etc. So that's his basic strength, is that he supports all his henchmen because he is the centre of attention, and he loves it. He loves it when he supports his henchmen. His weaknesses, however, come in the form of his reputation, which is why I've held it off for this long. It's 100 rep. For what he does. He does his things incredibly well for a Joker gang. However, he is expensive. 100 rep is very expensive for what he does. But if that is your playstyle that you enjoy the most, is support characters supporting the rest of your force, then that is 100 rep well spent. Again, the differences between like this Joker and the most famous one, which is the Arkham City Joker, or the infamous one you could say, is that whilst that Joker may be cheaper, he's more of a lone wolf kind of guy. He doesn't really care if someone comes up to him because he's got luck and he's got Chaos Agent. He's got Trickster on him, so he's very unpredictable and flashy and stuff. You know, this one's slightly weaker without luck, but he does support a lot of his gang a lot more than Arkham City Joker, which is why it's so expensive. So again, if this is your playstyle where you like your leader crippling your opponent's henchmen as well as supporting your own henchmen, then he's definitely your go-to guy. So you've got that. His other weakness, as I've said, is because of the lack of luck, if an opponent has some big guy like Croc or Titan Bane or any sort of Bane or Deathstroke or anybody on a one-on-one basis, Joker's going to get whittled down, and he's not going to like that. So he always has to be supported. My advice would be either go, depending on your playstyle, the sidekicks vary differently. Harley, you could try Harley, but she's more, again, like a support character who cripples more opponents. So if you really like crippling your opponent with willpower and not making them be able to do stuff, Harley's your queen. But if you want someone to protect this Joker, go for Mr. Hammer, because of his bodyguard endurance of 8, he's not going to go anywhere too soon. He's literally just going to waltz up with Joker, bodyguard him, use the Warhammer to smash things. It's simple as that. So you've got ways of covering this Joker, so it isn't like you're not without help. So that's always a great thing to see, absolutely. But in addition is he falls under Arkham City's Joker as well, which is once his henchmen start dying off, he becomes weaker himself because he can't give those buffs to dead henchmen. So you've also got to keep your eye on that. In addition, you've got to keep your eye on objectives. This isn't a game of all-out aggression. It's very much a case of precision and pressure. This Batman focuses on those two concepts the most. This Joker can definitely pull it off, but you've got to think a lot more with this Joker than you have with other variants of Joker. But once you get the hang of him, once you get down to the crack of things, once you see situations, once you buff your henchmen up and cripple certain targets off, especially ones that are closest to objectives, and maybe even big melee characters like Titan Thugs and what would you call them? Henchmen, high security henchmen, Little Spark, anything willpower 6 or less, usually tends to get really hurt by this Joker. So that's all. He's my favourite Joker because I love the Killing Joke storyline. I love the model. The models, I have to admit, even though I like other characters more than the Joker, this Joker sculpt is the best sculpt Knights models have ever made, in my opinion. The character is there. The sculpt is there. It's on point. It is so accurate to the comics, I feel. Especially the Killing Joke arc. Every time I've talked to somebody about the sculpt, there's been no complaints. There's nothing off, or there's nothing out of place or out of proportion. Everyone says this is a beautiful sculpt. So that's partially the reason why, and also because of the playstyle. I feel the strengths is what Joker should be. He is meant to be the centre of attention. Yes, he does do whatever he wants, which is why I can see the appeal for Arkham City Joker. But to me, he wants his henchmen around him. He wants his henchmen to see what he does. And I don't think Arkham City Joker does that as much as this Joker, if that makes sense. Yes, Arkham City Joker has a one-shot gun, and he's got the grenades, and he's got luck and stuff. But he tends to act like a lone wolf because he's got that protection of luck. So he usually goes around the flanks and stuff rather than inspiring and making his henchmen constantly surrounding him. So that's all I have to say about this Killing Joke Joker. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you liked the tangents. So, if you like this video and you want to see more of Joker's gang, then please give this video a like. If you want to see more Arkham Files, especially on Joker's gang, give this channel a subscribe, please. If you want to talk about anything or anything that you found has worked for you in for this Joker, or maybe parts in the Joker gang consistent of this Joker, please comment below. I love talking about Batman with you all. And if you've got a friend who's starting Joker and really likes this Joker, then please share this video out. I'm pretty sure your friend will appreciate the advice very much so. So that's all I have to really say. Thank you for watching. This is the Warp Forge, signing out, and remember, keep on forging.